For me, memories of Christmas in Tralee start with the smell of the open fire, which I don't have in London, and obviously the Christmas decorations. The RTE guide was a big part of Christmas in Tralee, well, in Ireland, I guess. Going through it and choosing the movies you're going to watch, and then visiting relatives Christmas morning after Mass, and then Christmas dinner in the afternoon, evening, and playing board games in the evening. So that was Christmas as a kid, and then when I moved back to London in '89, Christmas started with Slattery's coach to Tralee, 16-hour round trip, which was a bit of a pilgrimage. They certainly put grim into pilgrimage, but it started the whole process, and then it was catching up with my friends, going out to the Blasket and Harry Roach's and Horan's and the Abbey and so many other great pubs with live music, which doesn't happen so much anymore. Sean Oates being a huge exception. That's always got great live music these days. Obviously catching up with friends and family who I see maybe twice a year if I'm lucky. And of course over the last 2 years with COVID, not at all. Only got back to Tralee once. That's Christmas in Tralee. Going back to Tralee during the college years, early adult years, and meeting friends in pubs like Harry Roach's and the Blasket was magical, because one thing actually in Horan's, the bands we used to get in the 80s in Horan's, which we couldn't. Now I understand how blessed we were getting the likes of Meatloaf and UB40 and the Human League. The Human League were the first band I saw there. When I moved to London, I wanted to go to live venues, and there were few and far between for a start, and they cost the earth to get in, and you just didn't get the same bands. It was ridiculous.
We have the radio on all the time, and Jerome will be just going, "Saw these guys in Horns? Saw these guys in Horns?" I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, Elaine grew up in Dublin, and she
no, you just don't get that.
So and obviously catching up with friends and going on a pub crawl in Tralee, which is also something that you can do quite easily. Whereas in London, pubs tend to be a lot more spread out, and so it's not the norm to do.
It's varied though. So I've probably been going back to Tralee for about 16 years now.
Yeah.
With you, but in the early days, we'd be going to Sean Oates and be going to the Brogue and going to the sort of ones that were busy and fun. Mm-hmm. And now, what's the one we go to? The long one.
Oh, the Mall.
The Mall.
The Mall, yeah.
Because we tend to go there because actually we know we'll always get a seat. We can sit down and have a chat with people because we're getting old.
That age.
Yeah. But saying that, we still tend to finish up in Sean Oates.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You can't beat the
Sean
live
Oates
music.
is amazing. I suppose when I started going back to Tralee, I loved going to Sean Oates because, not being funny, in Dublin you don't get like live music, just in a pub like that, and particularly sort of Irish trad music, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So you taking such a long pilgrimage on the coach, I can't imagine that, partly because I'm much younger than you, but also because like now I wouldn't even consider it, I'd just fly.
Yeah.
And then the fact that we can just go straight into Kerry, and it's like, what, a 15-minute, 20-minute drive to get picked up. It's just so handy. It's so easy. Wouldn't even consider doing a coach or anything like that.
Nor would I. My body wouldn't take it these days. But, I mean, flying was an option back then, but Ryanair wasn't. So Aer Lingus was the only option. And I remember the first year I was in London, it was nearly £400. And that is, before the euro, back in the 80s, it was a long time ago. That was a lot of money back then for somebody who, you're starting out your career, you're not earning a lot of money. And when Slattery's coach was 65 quid, I think, it was a no-brainer. You had to do it. And also the flights were few and far between into Kerry, so it was flying into Shannon or Cork or Dublin and then making your way down. So it was still partly a pilgrimage anyway.
Yeah, where now it's just, yeah, you just
Yeah.
pop up to the airport, off you go.
Yeah.
Especially with having kids now.
Yeah.
You want to make the journey as simple as possible, and it's just...
Yeah, and Kerry Airport couldn't be handier. I mean, it's 10 minutes to Tralee. You know, my sister describes it as the Fisher-Price Airport because it's so small and compact. But it's wonderful. It's, you know, you're in and out in no time.
You don't get big queues.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic.
Just, it's really convenient.
One of my favourite airports in the world. And it's on my doorstep at home.